Well, guys, you did it. You have made it to the last performance or presentation of the day. So thank you all for staying tuned with us and thank you to thank you to San Antonio Entrepreneur Week. My name is Bryce Chandler.
And I'm Drew Reinhards.
And this is Culture Shocked TV.
Give me 1 second. Wow, that had to happen, right? Go ahead.
Perfect.
Yep.
We just actually drove 1,300 miles to give you guys this presentation.
Whew, yeah, I am not tired at all. Actually,
Yeah,
I'm just
you're
joking.
on your third cold brew.
I was on my fourth, yes. So, but please hear us out. For those that don't know, we actually run a YouTube channel called Culture Shock TV.
Yes,
we
sir.
eat, we drink, we travel. But most importantly, we bring communities together.
Wow, did you need to do that?
I did.
Okay.
I did. I watched all your reflection.
What does culture shock mean to us?
Well, it's like when you decide to jump out of a moving car at a Patriots game.
Cool.
Just to say I saw the building, but
I remember that.
yeah. And then you go through the crowd of fans, but then somehow you end up at Fenway Park taking shots of fire, looking at first base.
Like literally
shots of fire, not fireball.
Yeah. Or when we tried to make our own wine by stepping on grapes.
Yep.
And that didn't turn out well. We
Nope.
failed miserably.
Absolutely.
But we did get educated by a wine master at Augusta Vent.
From Australia. He was from Australia. Oh, and also when I showed up halfway across the country in Portland just to celebrate somebody's birthday who I had never met in my life. But we ended up going to Whistler Mountain, drinking lagers in a treehouse, talking about the culture, what Whistler has to what is happening in Whistler, and creating unforgettable memories.
That was definitely Hallmark worthy.
Yep, I've created myself.
Good job. From two hosts from two very different cultures, we are culture shocked.
What's the idea? Why team up? Was there a budget? Are we clickbait? Or, we're just here to make a difference? Yes, I'm a white Hispanic and he is black, but that wasn't the reason of the point why we began this. The point was to show the world that there's a lot to offer out there and to share the beauty of what Earth has to offer.
Absolutely. And amongst our travels, we highlighted so many parts of the country that you don't really get to find on Yelp. We really hit the streets. We talked to locals, just so we can bring you guys a full experience. Also, we like to show that it's possible to get to any of the destinations that we go to, because I'll tell you right now, we didn't have a budget, so it's all possible.
So when Bryce had approached me with this crazy idea, he had just got back from Los Angeles working with JC Kalen, another famous YouTuber out in LA.
Yeah.
I heard him out because he only offered to buy me coffee that day.
You're welcome.
But I'm glad I listened, because this is exactly what I was looking for in my life. He talks about putting a budget together, but I refused because I didn't want to be an employee. I was willing just to start from the ground up. We came up with the concept and decided to use our connections, traveling experiences, photography and video skills, acting, directing skills, and stage experience. Just me.
Well, that's weird.
Yeah, up for argument.
Well, we're on a stage right now, so from the work that we put into this channel and the relationships that we've built along this journey, we were able to construct a now growing business called J402 Media.
What does J402 Media stand for?
So actually J402 is our birthdays combined, July 4th and October 2nd.
Nice.
We kind of came up with that because we felt that we were born to do this.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the symbolization and all that.
Love it. J402 is a creative digital marketing company. And what is that? Basically, we create, innovate, and most importantly, bring communities together. So before we get started on the business and how it works, what we aim is to benefit the community. We'd like to completely be vulnerable and transparent with you guys about the experiences that we have had and learned in today's influencing culture, and talking about that we have left to impact and currently making in your life.
Very fancy.
So
how can we affect your mind as opposed to, how can one affect your message as opposed to affect your mind? There are 4 key words that we would like to invite you to try out that we actually live by. I will be speaking on 2 of the 4 Ps. We have made them all the same letter for simplicity purposes. But yeah, I'll be talking about purpose and patience. What is your true purpose, and how much patience do you have to watch yourself grow?
And I will be speaking on passion and permission. Now, passion is what are you passionate about, obviously, and permission is what will you allow to stop you from making what you want to accomplish happen. Now, this topic today, ladies and gentlemen, is the death of influencing marketing and the rise of impacting culture.
Cool. I feel like the best way to get into this topic, which is super relevant to today's market, is to first understand what each means and the difference between the two. So actually, I was reading an article on the Influencer Marketing Hub.
Oh, you read?
And yes,
Nice.
surprisingly, I own a business too.
Oh,
And an influencer is someone who has the power to affect the purchasing decisions because of his or her authority, knowledge, position, or relationship with his or her audience.
so meaning, just kidding. Like, did you know that differences between the types of influencers now? By following account and brand to influencers stand expectation. Influencers range from mega influencers to nano influencers.
Really?
Mega to nano, yes sir.
There's a
Now,
difference.
mega influencers are the people with a vast number of followers on their social media networks. Although there are no fixed rules on the boundaries between the different types of followers, a common view is that mega influencers have more than 1 million followers and at least one social media platform.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is insane that it's even become a job, but it's also crazy that they're all categorized now.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's pretty interesting. I would probably make a guess and say that most of the audience that we're speaking to today, shout out to Drew's mom, will probably be considered a macro or micro influencer. So those types of influencers, their followers range from a couple thousand to a couple 100,000, and maybe more accessible as far as working with influencer markets.
And if you're tuning in as a mega influencer company, I have been told that I have an amazing beard and can be an excellent sponsor for your beard oil brands.
This is super off topic.
No, it's not. It's completely relevant. Trust me.
Anyways, today's culture has glorified people's follower account, which can be both positive and negative.
Okay. Can you elaborate on the positive and negative for me?
So basically, actually, you know what? Before we get too involved with this, we want to let you guys know that we have probably scripted this out 3 different times.
Over a span of
a month. And honestly, every time that we scripted out, it didn't feel as authentic. And I feel like this is kind of what we're trying to deliver as far as our message today is authenticity, and also just kind of giving you guys who we are and how we came together. So basically, I'll be talking about myself, my personal rises, falls, and realizations of, how I have been impacted by different people, how I've been influenced, and how it has negatively and positively affected my situation.
And we'll also talk about those who actually have impacted our lives, because there's so much going on in this world today that we feel that it's super necessary to know why it is that you are being impacted or influenced. Yeah. There is a difference, and that's what we really, really want to try and understand with our stories, because Bryce and I have both been a part of something much more greater than who we are just as people standing here presenting this today.
Yeah.
So without further ado.
So yeah, guys, my name is Bryce, as I said, and I was always kind of a backstory about me. I've always been a kid who has had drive without destination. It's what my dad always used to say. I never really knew what I wanted, but I always knew that whatever I wanted to be freaking amazing at. I wanted to reach a certain level earlier on in my life, but for all the wrong reasons. I wanted the greed, it was for greedy reasons. It was for self-esteem boosting. It was for, materialistic things. And at the time, I was so influenced by the lifestyle that people portrayed on social media. And it wasn't until I picked up the camera on the production team at my church, actually, that I thought that I found my purpose. I thought that my purpose was filmmaking. And I chased it so hard. I was getting involved with the photography and the film communities, when I was a teenager, all the way up to young adult, still now. And I wound up getting a job with the Spurs. And it was an amazing opportunity. I met and worked with all the players, all the coaches, I mean, back in 2014, we won the championship. We partied on the center court, and they even gave the employees a championship ring. I was, for a teenage Bryce, didn't know what to do with myself. I learned, we won multiple awards. I learned so much about directing, editing, and all the things that I incorporate into my business today. Except there was one major problem. I was legitimately running out of goals to set. I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know what my purpose was. I was a very get things done. Like I was a very right now person. Like, okay, set a goal, reach a goal, move on to the next, keep going. Okay, I reached this. Like, what is this? Like, I got to the point where I was just like trying to fill this void of just feeling important, basically. And, I was chasing the wrong things. And, I would always compare myself to others at my age and wonder, how are they doing this? How did they get here? And, I realized that I wasn't in love with my own journey. I lost my sense of purpose. And it wasn't until I said, screw it. And I went on a trip. I went on a trip with my YouTube friend out in LA and my photographer friend out in Austin. And that's when I really started paying attention to my intentions. And, here I was on the completely opposite side of the country. We went to Pacific Northwest, and, we basically learned a lot. Like, we were really involved in the present moment. Their mentality and outlook in life was so impactful and authentic that it honestly made me realize that what I was focusing on was the wrong thing. Your purpose, in my opinion, is whatever makes you happy. It wasn't about the filmmaking. It wasn't about the lifestyle, the environment. Like, what really actually made me happy, what made me get out of bed and was just like, all right, you can never stop helping other people. That's a different day every time you try. So this brings me to my second P, which is patience, because I felt like my purpose was to help other people. There's a book I like to discuss actually with this guy, and it is called The Bamboo Fairy.
Tell me more.
So basically it says that from the moment that you plant a bamboo seed, is it a seed, walnut, I don't know. Basically a stem.
It's a taco.
It's a taco. And so basically when you plant a bamboo stem, it takes up to 5 years to grow just from the sprout to the ground. So once it's established, that's when it can grow exponentially within the first day, the first 72 hours.
Once it comes out of that ground, that's it.
Yeah. So the question that I feel like that we could all relate to is, does it take 5 years to grow or 5 years to get established before your exponential growth? And so had I not continued to pursue my purpose initially, despite how much everyone else was finding their purpose, would I have settled for another career that I did not personally love? Had I not been patient with my journey, where would I be today? Or would I be running a business today with a person that actually impacts my life daily? So probably not. So basically, I just want to kind of leave those two P's in your head, purpose and patience. And I just encourage everybody that's watching to really find your true purpose deeper than the surface level of like what you want versus like what you can do to impact the community around you.
That's awesome. I really like the whole bamboo effect because it literally talks about the idea of not being able to see the growth within the 5 years.
Yeah.
And people, they like to see results so fast. But if you stay true to exactly what it is that you're doing, maybe as an influencer, but maybe somebody of impact, if you're leaving something behind, it's going to take a while to get to that point in life.
Yeah.
And the whole idea behind it is that not everybody's going to see your message right away. Not even yourself. You're not going to see a clear path. I mean, a lot of people do manifestation, law of
Yeah.
attraction. I do a lot of manifesting and law of attraction myself,
Yeah.
but literally putting together something that you're going to leave behind. And I'll get more into that here in a second. So where my influence turned into impact, and finding permission affected what I was passionate about. Before teaming up with Culture Shock TV, I was a singer, an actor, a professional dancer, and I toured with a boy band group called SAEW. That's right, a beautiful bearded man was once a beardless heartthrob. Now,
Self-proclaimed.
with SAEW, I got to tour the world, filmed a TV show called The Wannabe starring SAEW that aired all over the world and is still airing to this day. So the show landed with a recording deal with Cash Money Records. Yes, that's right, YMCMB.
Ooh.
With Lil Wayne, Nicki Minaj, Drake, all the A-listers. Little Texas boy coming in with the rap game and trying out with these guys.
How was that?
It was fun. So we appeared in magazines across the globe, but that wasn't the highlight of my career. And why is that? It's that there's so much different things happening in this world, and because fame is all seen sometimes for the wrong reason. Money, women, power. And I was living my years, I guess you could say, to the fullest, but I was never fulfilled. SAEW got the privilege to actually team up with a couple organizations, which turned my mentality around completely. A few of which were US Pairs, Kmart, and the one that impacted me the most was Buckner Shoes for Orphan Souls.
Whoa.
This is where I learned, as an influencing artist, I could impact lives. We traveled across South America, Peru, Chile, Argentina, Mexico, to go to countless orphanages to put on socks and shoes on orphans' feet. This is the moment where I realized the following that SAEW had built was just a small portion of impact to a larger community that I didn't even know was out there.
Yeah.
A few years go by and the band breaks up, and I go home. Everything that I had built for 10 years was completely gone. Yeah, so I thought. We come home. It's made it feel as if nothing was possible anymore. I made myself believe that these values was nothing, and where I thought I was hitting rock bottom led me to finding out where my passion was actually at. Now, to do what I found myself is the impact which lives and create a platform that doesn't affect me in all the positive ways. But every single viewer and client is where it's all at for me. It was my move back home that I realized that I was living the wrong movie. I wasn't living for me. I was living literally for what people wanted me to be. This was where I thought that I could be accepted after giving 10 years of my life to the people just to make them happy. It was like a bad breakup, but losing that one thing that I truly loved. This is why I became passionate for growing myself and my craft and learning from my failures and implementing them into my next adventures. This is where I came across permission. Now, why do I want to be a photographer? Why did I want to be an actor? Why do I want to be a dancer for 20 years? What the heck is marketing? And this all kind of came from where my grandfather originated. He was a photographer. And I remember being in the darkroom actually as a kid and sitting there and putting these all together. And this is what kind of really sparked the whole mentality of not necessarily just acting, but also the mentality of being a photographer. My mother always told me that my grandfather was on the other side of the camera. So it's what really, really kind of kept me going. Yeah. And that remember those things just brought me joy. So maybe a lot of people don't realize that the things that they're doing are impacting from their childhood because it brings them joy, it brings them happiness. So they remember those things, and that's what they want to continue in with life. Now, my mother is my biggest fan, and Mama Reinhardt's.
Mama Reinhardt's.
If you follow me on IG,
like that.
If you follow me on IG, you might notice that we're kind of sporadic. We're all over the place. We don't know where we're going to be next. We literally just came in from Vegas, literally right now.
Yeah.
Drove up, started doing this thing. We've been at it all night, but we're excited to be here. And after coming back, my mother did teach me that she taught me, never allow anyone to tell me what I should do and shouldn't do. Letting me know that it is okay to go to the world if I'm passionate about certain things. Now, what is it that you want and never ask for permission. Just ask for forgiveness. Now, in order to recognize your impact, you have to understand your influence. So basically, to close out my TED Talk, remember that remember to learn from your failures. Now, with your failures, you will enjoy your victories, and from your victories will come your legacy.
Absolutely. So, like we were kind of introducing to you guys earlier, what is J402 Media? We explain what we do, but we also would like to kind of dive into how we integrate our business with the community and how we like to stay active in, just what people are doing and just spreading positivity, and then just also our, allowing our work to speak through the community, basically. And so one of our biggest clients right now actually he has a nonprofit that we're helping build. And so right now, he is actually a burn victim, a surviving burn victim. And he literally, he spent 2 years, I think he spent like
2 years in the hospital.
2 years in the hospital, 6 months in a coma. And, he reached out to us, of all people, and, he said, I see what you guys are doing. I see how you guys are just making people laugh, making people, just spreading positivity, basically. And I guess he was really attracted to that light. And literally, as soon as he came out of the coma, as soon as he came out of his condition, I wouldn't even call it that. He hit us up and he was just like, I want to tell my story. And then he was telling us this, he said, I want to make an impact for other people that are going through what I went through. And so I think that immediately after he pitched it to me, I mean, he was halfway through the sentence and I was just like, absolutely. I didn't really need any convincing as far as, what entails as far as the budget. Like, I knew what he went through because I went to school with him, and it was very unfortunate. And so when he gave me the call, we answered, and, he actually turned into a really good client of ours, and he is creating a facility right next to BAMC, which I don't know the actual wording for that, but it's a hospital in kind of down east side San Antonio, next to AT&T Center. So he's building a burn facility basically for families to go out there and stay for free. And he wants us to he's building it from the ground. I could reach down and touch the ground, but the cameraman would get mad at me. There's literally nothing but, well, actually they're tearing it down.
They're tearing it down. So there is a building currently right now, and they talked about remodeling, and we're literally documenting this whole thing as it's happening. And they're talking about remodeling the building, going back and forth, whatever. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we hear we're just going to tear it down. So 30 minutes of conversation happened, and all of a sudden they're just going to tear down this building, completely revamp this for all the people that are going to be staying in this facility. And I think the main reason why is that we decided to go with this client is because of the impact that he's not only doing for himself, but he's doing it for the community. There's so much heart, there's so much intention with what is actually happening with what he wants to do for not just the city of San Antonio, but the world.
Yeah.
I remember having a conversation with him not too long ago, and he's kind of has his moments where you think he's kind of standoffish, but he actually has amazing things to say. And all I asked was, what do you want to do with this world? And he said, all I want to do is change it. So right then and there, I knew that taking on something like this and this project was going to not only impact us, but also
impact the community.
Impact the community, correct.
And just kind of going off of him as an example of just making sure that you are, because honestly, there's not a difference between an influencer and an impactor. It's more of the intent behind what you do with, what you have, basically. And so, there's people that are probably watching right now with many followers, and that is amazing. And that's not even an issue. It's what is your true purpose, and what are you going to do with the followers that you have? What are you going to do for not even just for the community, but what would you say is how can you kind of pass that along as far as the blessings that you have? And so we actually talked to Josh, going back to that, we talked to Josh, and as his marketing team, or as his marketing team, we asked him like, do you want more followers? Do you want more recognition? Do you want, XYZ? Like, what is your path that you want to go on? And he said, I don't care about numbers. I care about the community. Like, he can easily, have as many followers as he wants with the people that he hangs out with. But at the end of the day, it's more about what you do with what you have outside of, having X amount of followers and chasing numbers and chasing the wrong intentions, basically.
And also with intentions, there's so much going on with what's happening in the world today. And there's a lot obviously going on social media. A lot of people are seeing all the things that are happening as far as COVID, as far as, everybody doing the silent protesting. There's so much happening. Yeah. And I feel like with J402 Media, we had a lot of time to really think and reflect about how the direction we wanted to go with our business. And because we are a digital company, because we are a creative team, we have so much to offer to the community, especially with COVID-19, with all these businesses shutting down. We were able to offer what we call donate to donate, our time to go and take photos and videos for different companies. That way they can then in return donate their time to somebody else.
Yeah.
So it was nice to be able to do that, and we still are doing that. If you plan on donating your time as well to other companies and to other people in town or in the community that you are in.
Yeah, and we also, just to kind of go off of that, like our framework as far as businesses are involved, like we actually, for businesses currently, because kind of going off what you said, businesses are struggling right now. The community needs us. We like to get involved with the community. We put on events. We put it on Eventbrite, and we get, kind of telling on ourselves, but we, get paid through ticket sales and just kind of let the community get involved with that particular business. So we try to framework our business to kind of suit everybody's needs and also budgets, especially during this time.
Nice. Well, I think we came to a good point, man.
Yeah.
I think before we sign off, guys, I actually do want to say that if you are watching this right now, leave in the description box a little bit. We're going to do maybe a Q&A. We'll respond to some of your questions if you have any, based off of what you kind of heard, if it's based off of the 4 Ps or if it's based off of what we do to help different marketing teams here in town. We'd love to help out. We'd love to even just answer any questions if you have them. Shoot us a DM at our Instagram at cultureshocktv. What is it? Culture Shock. C Shocked TV.
Spit on me.
Sorry.
No, it's C Shocked
Past tense.
TV. Past tense. Yeah. So we're on Instagram. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Culture Shock TV. Look for the guy with the pink bandana. I'm not wearing it right now.
And the guy with the beard.
He's always wearing that.
So we're going to sign off because we need to get some sleep. We just drove in all the way from Vegas. We have a lot of footage and photography to go through, but we are super excited. Thank you so much. San Antonio Entrepreneur Week, the Down Market, the Parish.
Yeah. All of that.
Thank you again so much for inviting us on. We hope that you enjoyed our talk. We hope to see you soon. Everyone, please stay safe.
We are not here to influence. We are here to impact. My name is Bryce Chandler.
And I'm Drew Reinhardt. And you've been Culture Shocked.
I'm just going to keep doing this till you log off.